What's up, everybody? It's Ty the Bourbon Guy, and welcome back to another whiskey review. Today we are reviewing the Baker's Single Barrel 7-Year bottle. This particular one has been interesting for me, specifically in my bourbon journey, because originally when Baker's was released prior, it was a small batch product, and I actually preferred that over Booker's. Then something switched, probably my palate, developing, me trying different whiskeys, whatever it may be. All of a sudden I started to prefer Booker's over Baker's. And then they switched this whole brand of Baker's, make it a single barrel product, age stated at 7 years. And now all of a sudden, with that and the increase of the price of Booker's, it's tough for me. It has been very difficult to pick and choose which one I actually prefer. But we're gonna figure out today which one, at least if I like the Baker's. So again, age stated at 7 years, but again, that's just a minimum. So that just means that the youngest barrel they're going to put in this bottle is 7 years. The particular barrel that they chose for the bottle that I have happens to be 8.5 years. So I think that kind of makes it a little fun game within itself, because you can find, yes, Baker 7 years, but you can also check the label on the neck of the bottle to see, is this bottle just happen to be older than what the label says. So again, age stated 7 years on the bottle, but on the neck, my bottle actually has 8.5. Really interesting that you can actually follow your barrel and figure out, the process that your barrel went through. So I think Jim Beam's doing some interesting things in that aspect of being able to market to different people and just kind of see the journey that your barrel was on, not just drink a bottle of whiskey and not really care. And I think with the direction we are going as consumers, we like to be knowledgeable. We want to understand where this came from. We want transparency from brands. You don't get much more transparent than that from Jim Beam, than being able to follow that barrel through. So that, I think, is a really interesting aspect of it as well. And again, all this is really fun. Let's see what the whiskey actually tastes like. So the bottle itself, I don't really feel like it's doing too much. It's very simple. I actually love the look of this. I love the way they redid this bottle from the old. The Baker's label is there nice and big. You have the 7-year here on the side. Again, you have the information as to which warehouse this came from, the proof on the neck label as well, serial numbers, so you can research this barrel, the date that it was barreled, the age statement, to let you know that this is actually older than 7 years. So, it's gives you the information that you really need, but without giving you a bunch of information that's pointless. I like that when they added the 13-year, they kept the bottle the same and just switched the label to 13 years. Had a little bit of a premium packaging with the 13-year, but again, still really neat to see this. So, packaging-wise, I think it's great. I think the bottle looks great. It looks very nice. For what it is. It sits on a shelf and it's going to look great regardless of what type of collection you have. So I like that design. They're not trying to market to me. I hate that. So I'm all in. But again, let's see what the actual whiskey tastes like. Jim Beam is just pretty much known for that peanut nose, or that peanut flavor that they seems to be in all their whiskeys. They're just known for that. Definitely picks up here, but it's almost like this is gonna sound very weird, but it smells. Whiskey doesn't sound. Let's see. That's another thing. We'll get into that later. It smells like a mixture of peanuts and oranges. So there is a citrus element here. The nose to me is almost like a medium nose. It's not too bright or too dark by any means. If I had to pick a certain direction, I would say it's going in the brighter direction of a nose. But definitely citrus fruits, and it's like an orange citrus that I'm picking up. Certain bourbons, the caramel is heavy, the vanilla is heavy, and with this, I don't necessarily think it's that heavy. Again, I really think the orange is what's, to me, that orange citrus, that peanut mixture. Again, it sounds terrible, but that is what, to me, seems to be more prevalent. See what it tastes like. Cheers. I think for the most part, the palate follows the nose. So what it smells like is pretty much what it tastes like. But I do think that the palate is a little bit more complex. I think the palate offers a little more depth of flavor than maybe what I would have anticipated off of the nose. The citrus and the peanuts are still there, but we're going into richer, deeper flavors. Caramel does come through. The vanilla's definitely come through now. The citrus is, again, more in depth. Yeah, it's definitely picked up on the palate. It is the nose turned up. So let's go back and see. And now that I go back to the nose, the peanut's there even more so. So it's almost like that initial sip just kind of opened everything up. And now when I go back to the nose seems a little bit more powerful as well. There's a little ethanol note in there. If you're not used to higher proof whiskeys, this might be a little harsh for you, but I don't think it's overpowering. I think it's still approachable. It's 107 proof. It does, in my opinion, drink like 107. I wouldn't say it drinks less than that, and I don't really think it drinks hotter than that, but at 107 proof, I think even if you're new to whiskey, you can try this, but over ice or with a few drops of water or something like that, I think would be just fine. I think that the proof is warm enough that it may soften it enough for you to be approachable, but I don't think you're going to lose the flavor. So only one way to try that or to figure that out, and that is to try it. So now when I go back, there's like these deep oak caramel notes. It smells like the barrel. It smells like, if you've ever gotten a chance to smell the inside of a whiskey barrel, that's what this smells like, which obviously I'm sure people are saying, yeah, great, thanks. We tuned into your channel to hear that. It smells like what it was sitting in. But no, I mean, it's definitely richer. When you first pop open a whiskey barrel, just that richness, that heavy flavor and heavy scent that comes from that barrel of that char and the oak and the caramel flavors and all that stuff that comes out of that barrel, it's starting to develop. So the complexity of this, in my opinion, is starting to increase a little bit because we started on the citrus bright side, and as I sip this, we're starting to go into a darker, more complex, more in-depth flavors. So this whiskey is starting to change over time. It's putting us on a little bit of a ride here. It's really pleasant. The nose is great. The palate, again, provides everything I could possibly want, gives me enough of a hug. It's not melting my face off. The finish, I would say, is about medium. Very approachable, very drinkable. I could pour this in a glass and just have a conversation with somebody and be okay. Let's keep going. This would be a whiskey that I think, if people like Jim Beam products, I think they would like this specific bottle. If people are not a fan of Jim Beam, typically, if you don't typically like a Knob Creek or you don't like Booker's, I don't necessarily know that this is going to be the bottle for you. But I think that if you enjoy Jim Beam products, I think this will be right up your alley. I think that, again, the proof is great. The price point compared to Booker's, this is where I start to now teeter-totter a little bit, because I am a fan of Booker's. But with the increase in price, the difficulty to find that particular bottle, and now you have typically an older bottle, and it's a single barrel. I don't know. I mean, it does make it tough. So I hate when we talk about alternatives, but I understand the need to do that, because if we can't find this bottle and this is somebody's favorite bottle, we need to be able to figure out something else to go try. So in that instance, with me being a Booker's fan, I could find Baker 7 way more than I can find Booker's. So with that being said, I would suggest Baker 7 Year as an alternative, but I also would suggest Baker 7 as an actual whiskey, not even necessarily an alternative, just one that somebody should try. If you're not necessarily brand new to the whiskey game, but you've tried some different things, and maybe you're looking for a more premium whiskey, maybe you're looking to spend a little bit more, you want a nicer bottle, you just want something in your collection. When people come over, you can share that. I think this bottle checks all those boxes and provides that experience that you may want out of that. Has a really cool story with the fact that you can follow the barrel, look up your serial number, all that stuff. So this bottle to me is kind of like one that I think when you have guests over and you're trying to explain to them about this particular bottle. So maybe you have something else, an Evan Williams Bottled in Bond or Wild Turkey 101 or something like that for people that want to mix and things like that. But maybe you pull this bottle as something special. You want to tell your guests about the bottle and educate them a little bit on the age statement and the single barrel process and all these different things. I think it checks those boxes. So I wouldn't necessarily say this bottle's for beginners, but maybe intermediate to expert. I don't even know what you call somebody in whiskey anymore, but experienced, let's say. So whether you're you've tried some different things, from that level on to expert, I would suggest this bottle. I think that you would probably appreciate it a little bit more. Not saying beginners can't handle it or anything like that, but at a higher proof and the type of notes that this offers, I just wonder if a beginner wouldn't really find this approachable. I don't know. But again, only one way to find out. That's to try it for yourself. Don't take my word for it. So let's finish this. So without me actually blinding this compared to a Booker's and Booker's batches vary. A single barrel is going to vary. So I think it is tough to really nail down which product I do prefer. I think I'll just always be a Booker's fan because I just love Booker's. I've heard a lot of which is probably well understood, but a lot of the frustration with the increase in price, a lot of the frustration with the quality coming down, all of these, issues that people have with Booker's, I understand it. But I'm also the same person that says I don't like to be marketed to. I love Booker's because of the packaging. And I just love that brand. There's something about it that's almost a little nostalgic for me. If I'm at a bar and they have Booker's and Baker's, I will most likely choose the Booker's over the Baker's. But that doesn't mean that this is not a good product. That doesn't mean that this isn't worth having. This is one that I would suggest that maybe you try before you buy if possible. But in my area, this bottle is sub $60. So I think maybe the 60 to 70 range. I'll leave it up here on the screen as what the MSRP is. But it's cheaper than Booker's. So it's kind of floating that line of if you know somebody or you're able to try it, sure. But if not, it might be worth it to just go ahead and buy a bottle. Some liquor stores in my area actually let you taste test. Try different things before you buy them. What a concept to a liquor store. But so maybe if you're in that type of situation, maybe try that. But I just feel like the taste profile on this is going to be polarizing. It's going to be people that love it, people that hate it. And if you enjoy that profile, you are going to love this bottle. If not, then you're going to hate this bottle, I think. So that's where I think try before you buy. With all that being said, ratings is what people actually are interested in and what I think of this bottle. This bottle to me, I would rate it a 92. I think given the price point, given the availability, I think given the price point, given the availability in my area, given the fact that I could just, I can walk into a liquor store, go grab this bottle. It's age stated. It's not trying to sell me on anything. The bottle looks fantastic. The whiskey inside is a single barrel. I can follow this through. The sequence number, all that stuff. The presentation of this, the experience of this bottle. But again, more importantly, the flavor. The whiskey itself is good whiskey, in my opinion. So given all these different aspects, I think I have to rate this a 92. It is not the best whiskey I've ever had, or it's not going to always be one that I'm going to go to 100% of the time, but I don't think it's a slouch either. So 92 is what I'm officially going to rate this out of 100. I don't have a crazy measuring system for those that are new to the channel. I just taste whiskey and just see what my thoughts are. I kind of have other whiskeys, their ratings in my head, and I kind of think, is that whiskey better than this one, or whatever the case is. I think it's better than some. I think there's others I still would prefer over this. So that's the review for today. I appreciate you all tuning in. If you've watched this long, you might as well subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. You know what to do. And I will see you in the next review. Cheers.